Welcome to Vital D. All we do here is to bring health tips to your nearest doorstep. So today I'll be your host and we'll be discussing a very important topic, that one of those topics that a lot of youth out there are taking for granted. Because at the end of the day, most people do things out of carelessness, most people also do things out of ignorance. So today I'm here to talk about sexual health. And I have with me two professionals who are going to share for us this insight and deep knowledge of what sexual health is all about. They are going to tell us what sexual health is about. We discuss the importance of sexual health on how to have a society that is free of people that are not coordinating because of lack of sexual control. So I have with me today two important guests, two professionals who are going to discuss this topic with us. So welcome to the show.
I'm Nasi Dorian. Thank you for having me.
And I'm Nasi Kemini.
Nasi Kemini and Nasi Dorian, welcome to Vital D podcast once again. How are we doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank
Okay,
you.
like I earlier introduced that we'll be discussing on sexual health. What's your view on sexual health?
Okay, thank you. Sexual health to me, immediately people hear sexual health or sexual or sex itself. People feel it's not something people should mention out. It's not something that people should actually say out. It should be something that should be done in the closet. But I'll put it up today that sexual health as a whole, it has to do with the state of the physical health, the emotional, the psychological, and the mental state of an individual in things that relates to sexuality. And it is not just looking at the dysfunction or the sickness itself. It works on a whole lot on the individual. It looks at even the consent, it looks at the respect when it comes to sexuality. It looks at a lot of things about the individual, especially the mental health. Look at how your self-comportment, your self-dignity, everything that has to do with the individual.
All right, thank you for that a brief introduction. Nosa Ekemini, do you have what to tell us on a small insight of this word sexual health, your own view? How do you see sexual health?
Okay, just like she has already said, according to World Health Organization, sexual health is a complete state of physical, mental, emotional well-being with matters related to sexuality. So it's like she had already explained, it is something that should be done when you are ready. Ready mentally, ready physically, ready emotionally, and all round. It is not something that someone should force you into or someone should compel you. It's something that it should be done based on the knowledge you have. And when sexuality comes into play, when you are aware and you are ready, it makes it sexually healthy. But once it's done, when you're not ready and when you're not aware of what you're doing, it becomes unhealthy. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so very much. I must say I've learned a lot in that brief introduction. At least you can hear them talking about the readiness. I think that's the most important thing I picked out. You have to be ready to engage in sexual activities and it should not be something that you force someone into it. So that's one of the things we always do here, bringing you these health tips, because sometimes we go out there, people do things out of ignorance. So like they've already said, you have to be ready mentally first before you can. That's why we said we need to hear this thing, listen to us talk, and then put most of these things we are going to say into practice. So thank you for this brief introduction. We are going to look at the importance of this sexual health. Why does sexual health education matters in our society?
Okay. Sexual health education is really of importance in our society today, because without this sexual health education, like the parents like the parents informing the children, like the adolescents, they really need this much in the academic. It should be put in the curriculum there. So the importance of this sexual health education in schools or at homes, you look at the physical health, as we already mentioned when we were giving a brief introduction. So when you look at the physical health of the individual, you look at how healthy is this person. You look at the STIs. That is when it comes that the one can actually, because of the knowledge one has been able to obtain from sexual education, that one can actually prevent or help to protect itself from sexual transmitted infection. You look at unplanned pregnancy. Because of this, people are informed about the things that occur. So they are able to protect themselves. They are able to keep themselves healthy. So you now look at the emotional aspects. So imagine that a child was being abused. So look at what happens to the mental state of that child. The child will be depressed. The child will move to herself. The child will be shy. Most of the time, the child cannot speak up in the public because of the abuse, because of what had happened. But when this child is being informed, the child knows, okay, because there is a, I actually went through, when I was doing a research, they said there are signs and symptoms that of someone in, like, luring someone for sex. But if this, when the children are being exposed to this, you tend to see that this person is not good for me. I have to shift myself aside because anything could happen anytime.
Okay. So, Nurse Ekemini, also, I will come to you again because she has mentioned some points that are very peculiar and very common in our society today. The issue of rape cases. We will come to that because I would love to know more on that, how it relates to sexual health and why. But in your own view, why do you think sexual health matters in our society? What's your own view?
Okay, this is a very important aspect of health because we all know that in our society, that knowledge is power. Anything you are knowledgeable of can help you. You can actually avoid getting involved in such thing. You can also decide to get involved or to get away from it because you have the knowledge. But anything you're ignorant of, you will not know when you walk into those things and the thing become harmful to you. So it's the same thing that is applicable to sexual health education, especially to the adolescents. This stage of life is a very important stage. And without sexual health, a lot of them get involved in activities that they end up regretting in the future. We are aware of sexual abuse, not just to the female. The male are also victims of sexual abuse. We are aware of unplanned pregnancy, just like my partner had already talked about. And we know the consequences of each of these things. They get involved in sexual activities way too early, and at the end of it, they have unplanned pregnancy, they have to drop out of school, and even if the ones that wanted to go into skilled activities, they also have to stop. And so many other things. There are so many effects of lack of knowledge. So it's better to have the knowledge and you decide if to go ahead with it or not than to be ignorant of it. So it's very important that children and adolescents have sexual health education.
All right, thank you once again. Like I can pick from what you guys have said, the importance of sexual health. A lot of people, when it comes to, like you guys have said earlier, when it comes to talking, once people just mention sex, they don't want to listen to it. They don't even want to pay attention to it. Anything sexual, they will run away. But if it is about them talking about maybe drinking alcohol, club, partying, at the end of the day, a lot of people want to be interested. So you have made mention of early pregnancy. And most times you go to some hospitals, some facilities, you see some children of less than 14 years, sometimes 15 years of age being pregnant. And from what you people have said, could that be as a result of lack of proper sexual health education? Because you have said early pregnancy. And even some adolescents that, because I can also tell you that, put to you that a lady can be pregnant, just get birth, after 3 weeks or 4 weeks, you'll be pregnant again. That is also lack of sexual health awareness. So I want people to throw more light on this, on this issue of early pregnancy, and then even a pregnant or a mother that just put to bed getting involved in getting pregnant again after maybe 2 to 3 weeks or 4 weeks as the case may be. How will we relate that to this sexual health that we are looking at today?
Okay, to me, I will classify all of these in strategies that could help one to have a good sexual health. So, the unplanned pregnancy or the early pregnancy, so you call.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look at it to be under the safe sex practices. So now, when we talk about safe sex practices, we actually look at that we should do things that we can avoid unplanned pregnancy. So this is where we can bring in the contraceptives into it. So like using of condoms, can do other practices like the injectables and all of that. So, okay, mention of that the woman put to bed not up to 3 4 months, the person actually got pregnant. Yes, if the person is fully aware of proper sexual health and having been aware of it, that the person would have probably taken one method of contraceptive to actually prevent her from getting pregnant.
Okay. All right. So no, Sekemeni, I have a small question I want to ask because when you were talking about, you said something on the people living, cutting their dreams short. Because I know, when a man is sexually abused, people don't pay attention to it in the society. But when it comes to the ladies, a lot of people will come out, it was a rape case, it was a rape. But do you believe that guys could also be raped?
Of course, I mentioned it. It's not only the female.
Okay, it's not only the
sexually
female. So, but
abused.
do you think that people will believe that a guy was raped in this context?
If you're sexually educated, you will believe.
Okay, if you are sexually educated. Because I've never seen a case. It happens though, but I've never seen a case where a man would always go home victorious for being raped. It's always the ladies. So are you saying that this sexual health and male child also have to take it very serious?
Of course.
Okay. So what's your parameter when you say the male child need to take it serious? Like, should they be actively involved, or should they just, I don't know. Okay, let's put it like this. At what age do you think the male and the female child should be exposed to this sexual health?
I feel there's no age limit. As long as that child is able to speak and able to communicate with you, male or female, it's just to give them age-appropriate education. That is the kind of knowledge that is appropriate for that particular age. Just like you teach a child how to say, come, sit, or bring water for me at a very tender age. You could also teach a child the part of the body. That is part of the sexual health education. As they grow up and they begin to know their body and begin to know what can happen, you also get them involved with the activities that could be involved, like something like if a man or that uncle touches this part of your body, scream or tell me. That is also sexual health education. You don't necessarily have to say if that man has sex with you, because that child will not understand what you mean by sex.
Okay.
But if you're like, if that man touches your breast, tell me or scream. Or at any point somebody touches this part of your body, let me know. That is sexual health education. And as they grow and get into adolescence, you give them the full-blown knowledge. No knowledge should be limited, because even the contraceptive way, they are like, if you teach a child everything, they might end up becoming promiscuous and all of that. No, it's not true. Would you rather leave them with no knowledge and they thwart their future, rather than giving them the knowledge and allowing them to choose? For me, I would rather give them the knowledge that is age appropriate, and then you can emphasize on abstinence, especially based on your belief and what you stand for, your values. If you believe that abstinence is what a teenager or an adolescent should practice, then you can lay emphasis on it. But it doesn't mean you should limit them from the knowledge that they need to gain. So you should give them the age-appropriate knowledge on sexual health.
Okay, I think I like that word, age-appropriate knowledge. But I want to also put it to you. There are a lot of sexual practices that a lot of people, the boys and the girls out there, are engaging in that was not taught by their parents. So, because when you say teach them, I'm curious, because I can tell you that a female child of maybe 15, even before the age of 18, there are a lot of sexual practices most of them might know that even you as an adult you don't know.
Yeah.
So where are they getting that kind of information from? I know the internet is wild, I know that, but where are they getting those kind of information? Like, a lot of them engage in some wild sexual practices. So where do you think they're getting this information from?
Okay, let me come in there. She made mention of age-appropriate information.
Yeah.
Now you're in the house, you have your children. That is why the parents, I will put it out there to the parents. we should be very vigilant of what the children are doing at home. To the teachers should be very vigilant. When you get to school, you see children read certain types of novels which they should not read. So you look at the things your child is reading, look at the things your child is watching. Now it is now a norm in every home that when a child gets to maybe 5 years or so, they even give not even the part for the reading part that they give again. They connect internet that they can access internet themselves. So as a child, even if as a parent, even if you are giving your children these gadgets, you leave them in the house with your mate to work with them. You have to be vigilant. You cannot just leave the children out there because you are working. You don't have time for these children. Thank God you brought in a nanny for them. The nanny is taking care of them. And you don't even know what is going on in the house when you are not around. So as a parent, as far as you give them this gadget, you have once in a while, you pick up these gadgets when they are not around. You can even, it has made it that if they go through any history on the internet, you can access those history without them being away.
Okay. But
So you actually look at the books they read. Even at times they search the school bags because they could say, mommy is back, or they will put the book inside the school bag.
Okay.
At times, some parents don't even give time for the children, like listen to the children. Because I heard the other day, a child came and said, Mommy, I want to marry that girl. Mention one girl in class. And I said, why do you want to marry? Like, allow him to have a conversation with you. Give him that time. Let him, because at the point of you say, Mommy, someone touched me, because you are giving him or her that time. You say, my mommy will always listen to me.
That means the parent have a very big role.
They have
Very
the
important
parents,
role.
the teachers at the
But
school.
the new generation teachers, because and even our new generation mothers, there are some things our new generation mothers are doing that even me, I'll be ashamed of a lot of actions they put on. Like sometimes you go to maybe you step out maybe for a date, or you went to a lounge to sit down and relax, and you see a mother coming in with a very young child, and you sit down there and begin to put out some things that he's not supposed to put out. So I think the mothers have a very big role to play, but a lot of them are failing.
Not just the mothers.
I know the father has a very big role as well, but the ladies or the mothers have a bigger role when it comes to family.
Even the parent, the father equally.
No, the father is involved, but the child will always spend more time with the mother, unless it's the male child. But if it's a female child, the female child, unless maybe the father is someone that the daughter fears. But I know that though sometimes the female child will always be very, very fun to be with the dad. It happens.
Okay.
But I think the new generation parent, the Gen Z generation we are now, I think they are really failing in this aspect.
Okay, let's say I forget something. At home, there are times that the parents want to go out. Like, there are certain practices I don't encourage parents. You see children of nowadays, anything you do, they'll do it times two. There are some things that the parents should not do it in front of the child. You see now, the child, okay, you say, I want to go out. Before you know, the parents, the dad kills the mom. When you leave now, when she or he gets to school, he will do the same thing. Or maybe even the things that you watch at home, like, you should be very, very careful, even the things you say. Those people, like 2 years, before you know, they will not be, I overheard my mommy saying this at home. Before you know, the one that you don't even know if the other one, they've already thought, that one does not even have home training. Now be, hey, this thing is like this. That is how they've learned new things. So the parents should be very, very vigilant. The things you do, the things you say, your discussion, where you pick these children to. You cannot just take them to a place like a club or where people are dancing anyhow. At times I see where parents showcase their children online, they dance anyhow, and they feel so proud showing it out to the wall.
It's content.
No, I don't take it. Anyhow, people may look at it, but I don't feel it's necessary.
I've even seen a video where the dad was smoking, the mother was drinking beer, and a small child a female child was just sitting down there looking at them. I think that child was 2 years. And they both sit, he was getting engagement, people were looking at, people were commenting. So but I was like, this child that is growing up, my dad smokes, my mom drinks beer. So what are you nurturing them? Do you understand? So I think the parent also have a very big role.
Extremely.
But also, I also put it to you that the teachers also failing. And the reason most teachers are failing is because of what the parents are doing. Like now, maybe the teacher caught a particular child read a particular novel in school, and maybe out of correction, he now taught the child. You know, the father will not take a kindly with that teacher.
Yeah.
So as such, as a teacher, he wouldn't want to engage again.
Yeah.
So I think the parents have a very big role when it comes to sexual health. And then also internet, availability of internet. You know, a lot of people content out there, it's really, really damaging our female child. Like this kind of mindset that they are growing up with when it comes to this sexual awareness. They say, do you know that even adolescents that they no longer fear infection, they just feel that they fear getting pregnant more than having infection. Because they feel that they can always treat infection. But you see, pregnancy, you have gone for 9 months. So the internet has really made it wild for a lot of people. That I know that this sexual health education that we are talking about, the parent has a very big role to play. The mothers have a very big role. But before we proceed, I want us to look at sexual hygiene. Because that's also another way. Because a lot of practices are so unhygienic. So what's your view? Like what do you how can you explain to us in a very layman what you understand by sexual hygiene?
Okay, to me, sexual hygiene is all about how do you actually take care of yourself? What are the practices that you do during sex? Or what are the things that when we actually look at the sexual health, we are not really, it's not major on sex per se. So, but there are other things that you could do that will also bring infection to you. Because when we look at sexual health, we are looking at the whole reproductive system as a whole and the individual concern. So we could look at we could look at your personal hygiene, look at how do you actually keep your underwears, how frequent do you wash them, how frequent, I do encourage that at times once in a while you sun dry your underwears, you even iron them. So you also look at skin. If one that have happened to get involved in sex, at least we encourage that at least you take your bath before and after sexual contacts. Some people will, some research will also say that at least the woman and the male or the female should at least urinate immediately after that. Because they said the female, they say the urethra is short.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
But do they do that? That's the time they will spend discussing to recap the event. You understand? No, seriously. You know, because I think a lot of people fell on that aspect. When it comes to urinary tract infection or any infection, the women are more vulnerable than the men.
Yeah.
Because the female urethra is very short.
Yeah,
And it takes very minute seconds for this infection to travel to the bladder. But that is the time that you see after intercourse, after sex, the lady will comfortably stand over and start touching the guy. It was sweet. Why are you wasting time? Go into the bathroom, watch up, urinate as much as you can because you want to flush out those things. So I know it's important, but do they do it? We'll discussion of recap of the event. Will they allow them to do it?
To also look at using condom to avoid the STIs. Hey, another thing, open communication. This in open communication is where you actually discuss. Please, let's encourage in having one partners. So it's part of the hygiene. So you should have one partner, I have one partner. So in order not to bring in, there are plenty infection. Like we will actually get to those common health issues that pertain sex, so the STIs.
Right.
So the condoms now, that one can use the condom after using you just dump it anyway. Before you know, you see your child blowing balloon with it. So we encourage that you bury them. Okay, you don't even bury them, say you burn them. You don't flush. You burn them because you don't know one day that your child will be digging before you know you is blowing it as balloon. Even you wonder.
So I think this is a very engaging kind of conversation that we're having because I'm still learning some things. Even the ones I know, I'm refining them from what people have said. But I want to talk about this issue of because we are talking of sexual health here. Then I want to talk of issue of condom. Okay, I have a question about condom because the female condom, do most females know how to use it?
Okay. Most females have not seen the female condom equally. But I promise on this podcast, on this platform, that we will have an extensive teaching and a podcast on contraceptives where I will even bring the female condom myself to show you how it is being used. Because I'm very much aware that plenty, like, let me say, 50 or 70% of the female have not seen what the female condom looks like.
No, actually, it's true.
Have you seen what it looks like?
I've seen it.
Okay.
In fact, when I was in my NYC, we opportune. There's an NGO that came in, and we're doing. At least I was in the health platoon, so we're educating people on this sexual health. So we're giving female condom to share. So, like, when we're sharing these things, a lot of female couples then didn't even want to look at it. You understand?
They actually feel shy about it.
Yes.
Even actually, when you bring out that thing, it's, to me, it's something someone should feel shy about.
No, it's not even about being shy. Like, they were like, what's this?
And they've not seen it before.
Because they have no knowledge. But so that's, I think, like you have said, you say you bring it. It will be a welcome development for us to look at it and then share it. But before we forget again, like, a guy can spend thousands of naira to have a lady flying from one place to another, book a nice hotel, then laundries, everything, good food. But when it comes to the issue of using condom, they don't seem to buy to it. Why do you think that is happening? No, it's like not saying you want to tell us more about it. What happens?
Because I feel they don't really care about their health and they have no knowledge of the damages not using condom or having unsafe sex activities can bring to them.
But some people say the use of condom is not pleasurable. Do you also buy to that idea?
If they say so, they should do regular screening.
Regular screening?
Yes, lest I forget. It was part of the hygiene.
No,
It should be regular screening.
Yeah, because if you do regular screening and you see that you're already infected, let's say it's HIV.
Okay.
Let's not talk about gonorrhea and stuff that a lot of people already
used
are conversant with how to treat it and all of that. Let's talk about HIV that we know there is no cure, though there is something to suppress it. So if you're doing regular screening and you're not protecting yourself against it, and one day you see that thing you're looking for, how do you
That is why I
handle it?
also encourage having one partner, so you know yourself.
one partner nowadays. Is it possible?
So that
It's
your
possible.
one, what if that your one partner have partners that you don't
Yes.
even know?
No, like people get to. That is why I call it open communication. Where the both of you get to, the trust will be built. Integrity is also there.
Do people really have integrity these days? Now, when
So you have to know who
mention
you are rolling
when you
with.
mention integrity, a lot of people sell your integrity for money.
Mm.
Do you understand?
So what about married couple? Who one of the partner?
He's very
Positive.
faithful. He's very
Was
faithful.
it before the marriage? Or?
After marriage,
In the marriage,
Okay, you know, quite so we are all health educated. So when it comes to maybe the HIV, we know it's not only one means that one can actually acquire that.
okay.
That
But
it could
what
be
if
through
it's
the A
sexually?
courts.
Anyway, like I've always said, this is a very interesting topic because there are a whole lot one could learn from sexual health education. Because there's a whole lot, and I think the youth have to also pay more attention to it. Because at the end of the day, most people don't pay attention to it; they just live life the way they see. Before we continue, I also we are talking about sexual hygiene. And I know that a lot of people engage in some wild sexual practices. So what is, when it comes to this sexual hygiene that you people have been talking about, what will be your word of encouragement or what will be your input to them that explore those wild experiences that they want to experience out there? Because we're talking of sexual hygiene and we know we have a lot of wild practices out there. So and this hygiene is what limits the transfer of infections from one person to another. So what will you put out today for people to really understand this sexual hygiene and why they need to take it serious?
Okay. What I will say is, you know yourself and you know your level of hygiene, but you may not know the other person's own. And you don't know what the other person is carrying, especially if that person is not your spouse, just
Okay.
a random person. So when you want to practice these wild activities, knowing that you are hygienic and you do not know the other person, please, whenever you want to practice these wild activities, try and do it with your spouse.
Okay.
That's what I
So
want to say.
at least you can hear these are professionals that are telling you as much as you want to explore, because some people say I want to explore. Please encourage yourself to put those sexual practices in check before you engage in whatsoever you want to do. Nobody's asking you to stop whatever you want to do, but protect yourself and also protect your partner. Then for the married men, I'll put it to you out there. If your wife is very, let me say, if your wife is very loyal at home, please try and protect yourself so that you also protect her. At the end of the day, so that you will protect your child at home. Because you can't be funding your lifestyle, your excesses outside while your woman is loyal out there. Because I can put it to you, once a man is married, the lady most times is very faithful.
Reserve.
Gone reserve. In fact, a lot of contact is gone. But the man see flies like butterfly.
Exactly.
So, all right, like we have been discussing on this sexual health, and we have dived and talked more on it because at the end of the day, we want to have a society that people could live and then enjoy their life to the fullest. Now, I want us to talk about the health issues associated with people not taking this sexual health education seriously. So, what are your views? What are those health issues you think could come out or could come down with these people?
Okay, the common health issues I see for people that have heard about this this sexual education, but they are not doing the best practice. So you could have things like the STIs. There are many STIs, that is sexual transmitted infections. So we could have the syphilis, which is a bacterial infection. You have burning sensations, painful when urinating. You could have discharge that's have foul smell. You could have the gonorrhea, which have almost the same symptoms. I can't talk about sexual education without looking at the human papillomavirus. This human papilloma, like the sight of it, where you see the genital wart, it's you can't even, like, you will not want to see it, because people are really afraid of the pregnancy, as Famicom said, leaving the STIs. But if you see how genital wart is, I don't think you want to eat. Even you will even tell yourself abstinence is the way forward. And it's actually when the HPV enters there, cancer it's very prone to cervical cancer. And you know, when we call cancer is a terminal illness, it's only God alone that can save. It's a terminal illness. And there is actually something we call the human papilloma vaccination for it, which we bring in around the age of 11 to 12 years. It's for both boys and the girls. Yes.
Is it free?
So I know you are not vaccinated. You should try.
Yeah.
But for the female, when we get to the age like this, they will say you have to do pap smear before you can actually take the vaccination. But it's actually very good, and I encourage everyone out there. Please, if you've not, please try and get vaccinated. The hepatitis B, that one it's passed through blood. You know, when there is a contact, there is blood transmission. There is an exchange of blood. So hepatitis B, you can actually get vaccinated about it.
Okay. So Ekemene, do you have other views you want to still put it out for us?
Okay, she has rightfully dealt with the STIs. I would rather go to another aspect of it,
Okay.
peculiar to adolescents.
Okay.
I think I had earlier mentioned something like that. And it goes in a progression. Let's say a 15 or 13-year-old girl gets pregnant because of lack of proper sexual health knowledge. And the family is like, oh, this is a shame, we cannot do this. And maybe the girl runs away, or maybe the family pursues her away. Because it happens in Nigeria most often, especially in the communities. And the next thing the girl will end up doing is she will decide to she'll either decide to keep the pregnancy or to abort it. And if she keeps the pregnancy, we know a lot of things that are involved. Her future, her education, a lot of things will go wrong. And if she decides to terminate the pregnancy, you know very well she does not have the fund to go ahead with the proper, safe abortion practice. She will want to go into unsafe abortion, which is taking pills and the rest to terminate, or even taking concoction. And the next thing she comes down with abortal sepsis, which is where I want to deal with today. Sepsis, post-abortal sepsis, it's a very dangerous and bad aspect of the outcome of lack of sexual health education, because every part of the body will get involved. Yes, I have seen a lot of young ladies who get involved in this, and it's always by the special grace of God that they survive it, because immediately the sepsis gets into all the parts of the body, the kidneys, the liver, every aspect of the body gets involved. If they do not get proper care, they die untimely. So this is another aspect that a lot of people are not even aware of. They are so scared of pregnancy, STIs, and may not even be aware of sepsis that is the aftermath of abortion. So this is the aspect I want to talk about. I want to lay more emphasis on. I know that abortion is not legalized in Nigeria, but please, if you want to get involved and perhaps carry out abortion, please do it in a safe way, for the sake of yourself, for the sake of your future, for the sake of your parents. Do it in a safe way. If you come to me, I will not do it for you. It's not legal.
So you even know how to do it.
I tell people, no, I don't know how to do it, and I will not do it. My license does not cover it. I will not do it for you. But if you must do it, please be safe out there.
Okay, because when you mentioned this abortion, you were talking about concoction. I think a lot of people don't even pay attention to what happens around their life when it comes to that aspect. And most time people just kick the bucket unknowingly, and they'll start saying into things. Because like this sepsis you made mention of, it happens a lot. It happens a lot. People believe in this a friend referral prescription. My friend took these drugs, it worked for her. You understand? That's why I always tell people treatment should be individual based. Should be a one-on-one prescription. I don't encourage my friend did this, he took this particular drug. For the fact that you're having skin rash, your friend had skin rash, doesn't mean you guys are maybe having the same thing.
Yeah.
The other one could be as a result of maybe allergic reaction. Then the other one could be a sign of underlying infection. Then the other one too maybe something like something to just quench allergy reaction, and it was okay. But you were underlying infection, we are taking that because my friend took that. So I think people have to be aware of the need for individual treatment. Like define, I'm an advocate of definitive therapy, because when it comes to practices, we have prophylactic, we also have empirical treatment, then we also have definitive treatment. Empirical is the one we do most in Nigeria, in which you have symptoms of maybe, for example, bitterness in the mouth, you're having headache, the next thing, malaria, and the next thing, we put antibiotics. Yeah. No test was done. For the fact you have bitter taste doesn't mean you're having malaria. You having headache doesn't mean you're having malaria. All those things.
Will even tell you
yes.
Malaria.
And the issue of self-prescription online, you begin to Google your problem. You now look at the symptoms. Oh, I'm feeling this. I'm feeling. Now, AI is here. You just use AI. If someone have a complaint of stomach this, stomach that, stomach this, stomach, AI will give you results. Exactly. Because those things are human input. It will give you results. So at the end of the day, let us encourage. We want to encourage you out there, please. Do not allow yourself to be subject to self-medication. It could be very dangerous. And for the ladies that want to get involved in issue of abortion, please, no matter what you are doing, go and do the right thing. Because at the end of the day, this local concoction you people drink, roadside pills you guys just walk into a community pharmacy or pattern medicine shop to buy, it could lead to your early grave. and sometimes it happens at a very short time. You can even imagine. So this sexual health that we have been talking is very, very important, that you have to also pay attention to it. And then for the mothers have a very big role to play in these things. I don't see the need to pursue your child out of the house because your child is pregnant. Because you have also fell in a way.
Yeah.
Are you aware that some mothers are very happy with their children coming back with bags of goodies? In fact, I've seen where mothers will talk to, is it not this? Is it your mate? Do you understand? So those things could also push the female child out. You understand? Most of them will want to stay out. So at the end of the day, the parents have a very big role to play. Because this issue of sepsis that you're talking of in abortion, sometimes they could be as a result of a lot of underlying factors. Could be lack of funds from the family.
Yeah.
They want to feed. You understand? But I'm not taking that as an excuse. But we have to be aware of these things. That's why, like people mentioned, self practices is very key. Use condom.
Emergency
Guy
plans.
man, use condom. You carry woman, pay 100K for hotel, do all those things, and you cannot buy a condom of 1,002 or 1,005, or I think the least condom should be less than 2,000 naira.
I don't know.
You don't know. Try and know it, please.
How will I know? I'm married.
No, I know. But at least you can have people you cancel. So you can
Yeah.
also refer them to get.
No, the
Knowledge
NGOs make provision for it,
But
but I don't know with
NGOs
the
don't meet-
recent issues and all of that. That is actually
NGOs don't reach much of the rural environment.
True.
Do you understand? And even these things you are saying, some people might siphon those products from the NGO and sell it and make money. You
I
understand?
don't even know that condom is that costly. It has reached 1,000.
We still have cheaper ones. It depends on your level. There's a level.
Please, can you educate the public on it? You're not doing adverts, don't
No,
worry.
I'm not doing advert for any company out there. I'm not doing advert, but what I'm saying is that there is that contraceptive for everybody. Like the condoms, the use of condoms, it varies from price to price. You understand? So, but whatever the one you can afford, you need to get it, because you're not just protecting from STIs. You're also protecting yourself,
Yes.
your own life, because there's nothing like it's clean, it's this or it's that. At the end of the day, your life is very, very important, because if you are cut short, once you are gone, you are gone. So please, like I've said, you have to pay attention to this sexual health and take it very serious. It's not only for the ladies, even for the guys. I know sometimes we say disease does not kill Africa. Do you understand? That kind of notion is very wrong. So this sexual health, the parents have to be actively involved. But before we go, I have a very short question that I really want to ask. And my question is very simple. Why do mothers, because I'll still come to mothers, why do mothers seems to lay pressure on their female children to do what they are not supposed to do? Is it lack of ignorance? Is it ignorance or lack of fun? Because it's what is happening lately.
Okay, I was just thinking about it. You know, the society actually plays a lot of things, like plays much in our lifestyle, the things we do. Because when you get there, some communities or some parts of the country that you get at the age of 15, a child should already get married. It's betrothed to somebody. So the child could equally get to have sex, have unplanned pregnancy, okay, gets pregnant at that tender age. The child coming down will have the child die, the mother dying with the child.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
The mortality rate.
Yes.
But when it comes to mortality rates, even the fetal rate, like the mortality day is really much. The maternal mortality is really much when it comes to that aspect. So I want to speak to the society, the people that have the traditions, that please, they should try to, as we are educating them, please, they should put it to practice. That please, they should not expose these young ones to sex at early age. To the mothers, they should please provide proper education for these children. Don't follow what the society does. Don't want to say, my child is not doing like this person's child is doing. Please protect these children. That is why God gave them to you. You have to protect them. Because we are educating you people. Please, if you're ignorant about the causes, the damage it could cause to this child, please, you can look at our series and actually learn from it. That please, these children need to be protected for them to live for you.
Right. Thank you very much, Nurse Dorian. You have said so much. and we have also taken time to put it out there to our audience and then to the general public that we should not force these young ones because of desperation. We should encourage them and then let them grow, let them learn about themselves first, let them understand themselves, because most times the parents seems to put more pressure on these young ones. I can't imagine a 15-year-old child getting married. What does he really know when it comes to marriage? Like what marriage? What does he really know how to take care of a child? Like the new baby.
Herself first.
Even herself. Do you understand? I know some
At that age step, they come down with fistula.
Yes, some culture permits it, but we are not here to look at individual cultures. We are just here to tell you that most of these things are not safe for them. In fact, some of them do not even have proper development for them to even carry a child.
That's why they have the fistula.
Some of them do not. But because of our different cultural belief, we push these young ones out there. So please, the general public, general public out there, we are telling you today that sexual health is very, very important. And in our schools, the teachers should endeavor to also tell these people, even menstrual hygiene. Like you see a small child on the street, not knowing that he's bleeding, and the thing will be staining the clothes out there.
Yeah, we've put it in one of the series
Yes.
that we did.
So the parent have to be aware, expose these people on how to, your female child, how to use pads.
In the curriculum.
Yes,
the
and
sexual
pad.
education.
How to use it, how they should properly use it, and then clean themselves from time to time. So thank you so much, Nurse Iderian and Nurse Ekemini, for coming to Vital Day today, and then sharing for us expert ideas and the relevant tips on how we should encourage sexual education in our society. I want to say thank you very much once again. And then to our audience, I've said a whole lot from the definition of what sexual health is all about. First, they also talk about consent. As a young guy out there, you should encourage open communication with your partner. Do not try to engage your partner in what your partner does not seem to subscribe to. Always ensure that out there you encourage yourself to put in self-sex practices, because a lot of, aside STIs out there, we're also talking about your life. Your life, you have to protect your life as much as possible. Then to the parent and the teachers, please, we want to beg you, encourage your son and your daughter at early age. Encourage them to understand themselves first. Let them be aware of their body, what happens around their body, and then give them that confidence for them to speak up. Because most parents, you people don't pay attention to these young ones. Like your small child of 10 years came back from school and was trying to tell you what maybe a teacher did to the child in school or what uncle did. But because of you are busy with work, you don't allow them to feel this freedom to talk to you. Please allow them to talk and express themselves. Expose them to this sexual health education on time so that they can grow and be a better one in the society. Thank you for watching Vital D and sticking around with Vital D today. If you have not subscribed, please do not forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications so that once we drop videos like this, you'll be the first person to get notified. And if you have not shared these videos so far to your friends, please share this particular video to your friends so they encourage people out there to encourage themselves to have safe sex practices. Thank you once again. Until then, see you next time.